Is the summation of the September 17th meeting of the Town Council. I'll go through a real brief, and then I'll give you a little more detail. So for those who don't want to listen to the whole video, first thing discussed was the idea of the county environmental deal, where they would get low interest loans for upgrades to the sewage plant. Apparently they had the lawyer look it over, engineered, and they say, well, it's probably, they can't say whether it'd be cost effective to go with the program or not, whether it would cost more to participate, so they're probably not going to go with it this year anyway. There was some discussion of the 4% limit on revenues that'll go into effect this year. The state imposed that as part of the property tax reform. There's a lot of exceptions, so I mean, as a practical fact, there really isn't a 4% limit, but you know, I guess it'll put some pressure on the budget. There was some discussion of the high school. Apparently their sewage rates went up about 4 times, I guess, or 3 times, and so they wanted they basically wanted the town to forego the charge. The town will probably offer them the common right to defer the payment, but they'd have to pay interest, so they could put in next year's budget. So there was some discussion about one of the test wells at the sewage plant. A lot of chloroform was found, during the period where we had a lot of rain, so it had to be reported to the EPA. But I don't know whether, there wasn't any discussion about it meaning too much. There's supposed to be some sort of, how the sewage plant works thing that happens on the 29th. I don't think it's going to be at the sewage plant. They didn't say, which is not very helpful. Since it's the 29th, they could have just spelled it out a little better. So there was some discussion brought up by Barbara Stanton about confusion over the new parking regulations, and that people thought the whole parking ordinance was published apparently, and people thought they were all new rules, and apparently it's only a few of the rules are changing, and so she feels that everybody should be notified what the new rules are going to be. And there was really brief comment about the parade and some way to incite more local participation. I think they would just forget about the parade. But anyway, so they think they'll get more participation because, maybe they'll, the council will award the float winner some sort of plaque or something, and that'll make people more interested in building floats. Yeah, well, don't think so. And somebody brought up something about having a Halloween party, a town party, in lieu of trick-or-treating. These things are seldom in lieu of, so it just ends up just being another add-on, and whatever. I don't think they should be spending public money on Halloween. It's Halloween. There was again mention of KC's and their grease trap problem. Apparently they haven't gotten a permit to add one, so the town is concluding they're not going to comply with the requirement. And so I guess at the next meeting they'll decide to do something. I don't know whether they're going to cut off their sewage or what, but whatever. And so then there was some discussion about the liquor licenses and for the Black Horse Inn and them being transferred, and so apparently there's some hang up and whatever, so it still isn't getting done, but it should be on the agenda, I guess, at the next meeting. And then the big news was the borough administrator submitted his resignation, but I don't have any details beyond the fact that they accepted it. And so apparently he'll hang around for a little while till they find a replacement. So there really wasn't any indication of whether this was a surprise or whether he was asked to resign. They came back from an executive session, so I would yeah, it's like, it was kind of strange because, yeah, it's just like, yeah, okay, I'm going to read the statement. He reads the statement. You'd think if it was an amicable thing that there would have been some kind of statement saying that, you know, well, the borough administrators decided to move on to greener pastures or whatever, blah, blah, blah. We really thank him for his service, blah, blah, but there wasn't any of that. So, you know, I personally think the man is a criminal. And, you know, if I could get the court system to work, I'd get to prove that. So it's about time, as far as, you know, they're 8 years too late as far as I'm concerned. So it'll be, you know, interesting to see who they get as replacement. I think the position is way overpaid. I think the whole town government is, you know, not very efficient. So, don't know if there needs to go much detail here. There really wasn't much to say. You know, really not much this week. Oh yeah, there was the one issue. See that? I forgot something. Here, it's the end of the video. So we'll tack it on the end. Who cares? You know, there was the issue I had raised about the public access television, and the town, you know, the lawyer did concede that they have to write up a new ordinance, and he claims there is no ordinance in place now, but it's effectively an ordinance. It's an agreement between the two towns, and, you know, it has the weight of an ordinance, and there's no way of getting around it. It's an ordinance. And so he's conceded they're going to have to address that issue. So I don't know when they're going to put it on the agenda, though, so I don't know, you know. I still don't know what I'm going to do legally. I'm just sick of this bullshit, actually. So I'll just add, like, I got some video of the township's $550,000 soccer field. It's not even a baseball field, it's just a stupid soccer field. $550,000 right above Buttermilk Falls. So I guess I'll put the description in here.
A quick description. This is the old Seeing Eye property above Buttermilk Falls, and so I guess they've leveled quite a bit of ground, and it looks like it's going to be 2 tiers. So I guess there's going to be 2 fields, a bigger one and a smaller one. There wasn't much going on this day. I don't know what they'll use the old buildings for. They were talking about bathrooms or something, but seems like they should figure out a better purpose. I don't know whether that's a neighboring property or whether that's part of the Seeing Eye property over there. I'll have to put a fence in, I guess. That's the old fireplace down at Buttermilk Falls. It's a view upstream. Like I said, I walked up there a bit, but I couldn't find any bridge. The bridge is supposed to be upstream from the falls, I think. So there's the Buttermilk Falls. Not much of a falls, of course, but the pool there is still about 12 feet deep or so it's still pretty nice. This is about halfway up if you're coming from a mountainside road, and there's some bricks in the walkway there, some rocks, and that's right where there's a fork that goes up the hill, and so if you take that fork, it's a little easier walking. And there's the road from the road.